this week already and make it all happen. All right, looks like YouTube is live. Also, Facebook and YouTube are live. Let me go ahead and get the profile up too. Let's triple dip just a little bit. All right, we might as well. And just to get it going. All right, and hopefully we get a nice, lively, good stream going here today. First one was a little slow. The first one of the day, we're getting our second one in. So hopefully this is all gravy from here. All right. Is that going to stay up? It might not. Come on now. Problem I run into is lack of space on this desk. All right. And let's get the profile going. Uh-oh. All right, so also I'm now triple dipping, got the Facebook profile going. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, just sitting here getting my second round of list cardio done on the bike. I will take a jog here later. I did some pull-ups also. It's an off day from lifting, so we don't do a lot of high intensity cardio. We just cruise on the bike. A lot of people are like, that's not real cardio. Yeah, if I do an hour or two of list cardio, it counts. But it adds up. It's in my fasted window. And of course, we stream all of it, so we multitask. I end up getting clients and all sorts of stuff out of these. But yeah, I've got all of this going. I'll get a run in here later. It looks like the weather will hold. So I'll get a jog in here later too, one of my barefoot running sessions, which we're doing a short one every day, just building up my calves and feet and everything. So that's on the agenda. And just knocking out videos for you guys, getting clients caught up and just getting through the day. I got a couple of reels I'll put up here later from my grocery shopping and some pictures and stuff. I made a quick grocery run. So after this, I'm going to get the Instapot going after this cardio and at least get breakfast cooking. I'm going to do brown rice and sweet potatoes again today. I've been doing white rice and white potatoes. I feel like I need to go back to the other, right? And what I did so I'm decided, today I'll add some of the healthy fats back in. I have plenty of it. I think just to deal with appetite, if I stick with the brown rice, I'll be good. And then appetite in the evenings, I bought a bunch of extra Greek yogurt. I'm going to do what I do for my clients. What do I tell clients? Clients know this. What does coach tell you to do if you have a binge issue or hunger in the evenings? Lean protein. Gorge on fat-free Greek yogurt, piles of raw vegetables, or chicken breast and just put mustard on it. So again, that will stop any sort of overeating in the evenings. Works amazingly well. And I have clients with binge eating issues do it. But it's going to be minimized for me anyways because I'm fasted in the mornings and I eat tons of fiber in the afternoon. So we'll continue to do this to lean out. Training is going super well though, so really happy with that. So just getting a quick one of these in here for my profile. My aunt just liked my profile. Hello, Aunt Margaret. I just saw the profile once. I'm triple dipping here, guys. I am streaming all 3 platforms on the phone for the profile. But yeah, so I'm on all that. So Margaret, you can go follow me on the other one too, on the Facebook fitness page. You're on my profile. So I just saw my aunt's come through. I'm going to wind this one down. I just needed to get a quick live and a reel here because I need it for my creator badge this week. So I'm going to wind the phone down. All right, looks like YouTube is picking up pretty good. Hey, Dr. Min, I appreciate the like, brother. One of my regulars from the UK. And yeah, we're going to get that copied. We're going to make that into a reel because we need it. But yeah, I've definitely made a couple of little shorts that I'm going to put up from my shopping trip today, right? And again, I grabbed extra tug for Greek yogurt. So really Greek yogurt is going to be, I think, the key, and not having anything that's quick fix. That's the main thing. People want to avoid any sort of binging issues. Like I'm going to just not have oats around, for example. As funny as that sounds, because I could mix honey and raw oats together. You just don't have stuff like that around. Problem solved. Easy solutions. Yo, 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 says Gavin. What's up, Gavin? How you doing, brother? So, yeah. Yep. But as much as I like the white rice, I do kind of enjoy eating some healthy fats in there. Just better satiety. I start making some better sweet potatoes. These sweet potatoes are like, let me be honest, it's kind of funny. I don't like sweet potatoes that much, but I find that when I cook them correctly into the brown rice, they're great. But I don't really care for sweet potato on its own. Honestly, like I got to squirt a ton of mustard or something on it to really enjoy it. But the nutrition profile is great. And if you learn to cook it correctly with other stuff, sweet potatoes can be pretty dang good. But I find since I'm good at cooking brown rice and making it taste really good, I just cook the sweet potatoes in it, and that turns out really, really well. For me personally, right? Just for me personally. Okay. So yeah. Anything going on? There's viewers on the Facebook, but nobody's commenting yet. So let's hop back over to YouTube. Brown's basmati rice is goated. I like basmati Japanese sweet potato. I can't really get those around. Are you talking about like those purple ones they do? The ones I have are all just the orange ones here. I did a reel while I was shopping this morning where I recorded me talking about the sweet potatoes over the sweet potato section, and then I did one on fat-free dairy and lactose-free dairy. But yeah, Kosher, you consider oats in some way or a good pre-workout? I'm the worst person in the world to ask about pre-workout meals, Federico. A lot of people can't handle oats pre-workout; they vomit. I train fasted. I do not eat any food before I train. I do 100% of my exercise fasted. So even like yesterday, I did a full body workout. I did the sled. I did an hour on my bike, and then I went jogging before breakfast. Right? Greek yogurt and peanut butter has been my staple since you mentioned it, like, I don't know, 3 years ago. Any yogurt that isn't filled with, yeah. So, dude, if you're just looking for clean calories, and if like guys who struggle to eat enough food to gain muscle, right? My hard gainers, right? My hard gainers, I love Greek yogurt and natural peanut butter. Like my guys who are like, I cannot eat enough, coach. That's what I have them do. Appreciate it, Carol. I'm also on Facebook. So I'm a big fan of doing that. So my hard gainers, man, I got a guy right now down in Mexico who struggles with this. And I'm like, dude, tortillas, guacamole, rice, right? You're good. Same thing. Greek yogurt, peanut butter. This is what I have him eat. Because he struggles with, and when I say weight gain, people are like, well, you say people don't generally need to bulk. He's 150 pounds with ripped abs, trying to get bigger and stronger. He has appetite issues. But man, Greek yogurt plus natural peanut butter. I don't usually recommend cereals in general. They're junk food wrap. They're just refined sugars and garbage mixed in. Pasta can be fine if you have the low appetite. It can be really beneficial, right? So I'll study Greek yogurt, prevent cancer. Yeah, there's data on all those foods as far as cancer prevention. But that's just due to anything that's going to improve your gut biome is going to reduce cancer rates, right? So that's one of the reasons fiber does it on top of it. In addition to the improved insulin sensitivity, glycemic control, it has to do with the fact that a wide variety of fibers feed our gut biome. Well, healthy gut biome is preventative of cancers, right? So we always have to put that in context. Yep. Sauerkraut is good. I don't really like sauerkraut. Got an ice cream social at work today. Got to strategically disappear. There you go. We call it yogurt. Well, we call it yogurt here. I don't understand the difference. I just said yogurt. That's literally what you wrote. We call it yogurt. I don't think the Brits call it yogurt. I've never heard that. I lived there for 3 years. Does wonders for your gut biome, Mr. Coach. Yep. I don't know that sauerkraut does. Do you have data on that? I just don't like sauerkraut. I mean, you're free to eat it. I don't have a problem with it, but all fibrous foods work wonders for your gut. just eating fiber. Yeah. The Brits call it bangers and mash, right? Yeah, we just call that mashed potatoes. Right? We're doing bangers and mash, mate. It's kind of funny. It's full of vitamin C. It's not, I don't think there's any antibiotics in sauerkraut, bro. Yeah, I mean, that's just a lot of trouble. I mean, you don't have to go through all that trouble to make sauerkraut to get prebiotics and to get vitamin C. You know? Yeah, no, Peppermint's right. They just call it yogurt there. I did live there 3 years, and they say a lot of funny stuff, but I absolutely never heard what you were saying. Hey, Delana, I am one of the most anti-carnivore people you will meet in the industry. I literally have called for people pushing carnivore to be charged with crimes against humanity and to be put in prison or executed. So are you sure that you really want to ask me that? No, I haven't tried it because I'm not a fucking moron. How's that for an answer? Have you tried it? No, because I'm not stupid. Have you tried carnivore? Hold on. Give me a second here, guys. Is it gone? The word stupid written on my fucking forehead. Because only a complete blithering idiot would try carnivore, would even consider trying it. So it must be written on my forehead somewhere in a big magic marker. Someone wrote stupid. No, I'm not vegan. I promote balanced whole food omnivore diets. I believe we should eat minimally processed whole foods. I think we should eat a diet rich in carbohydrates, animal source protein, lots of fruits and vegetables, and then healthy fats as needed. Healthy fats meaning glucose and glucose. Why do I hate it, Gavin? Because it is literally a death sentence that will destroy your health and kill you. And it's being promoted to people as healthy. Like, it is arguably just possibly in some ways worse than the standard American diet, in some ways better. But the problem is people on the standard American diet know they're eating terrible. They know they're going to die from it. I feel like people should have a minimum knowledge about kosher before commenting in lives, right? You know. So I am militantly anti-carnivore. Like, I have made dozens of videos literally calling the people out with utter hatred and contempt for the people who promote it. Like, I think they should be charged with a crime for lying to people and promoting this crazy insanity. My opinion, because they're hurting people. No, I'm generally, so in short, I'm a chicken, rice, and vegetable type bro. Essentially is what I promote. Balance whole foods, minimize junk. I don't personally really do junk food. I occasionally take a cheat meal for a holiday or a family gathering. I'm just a whole foods person. Okay, gotcha. Well, I am very militantly anti-carnivore. I don't like veganism either. I'm just not as opposed to veganism as I am to carnivore. I don't like veganism. Make sense? I have an unfavorable view, whereas in carnivore, I am straight up, this is insanity. Anyone promoting it is killing people. But you made your profile today, Delana. So get out of here. Carnivore is just a protocol for getting lean. No, it doesn't even work that well, to be honest. I mean, there's versions of carnivore that people do that are not even going to make you that lean. Yeah, I know it was, but I took the bait on that carnivore thing. I should have just banned them. Do you consider Chipotle junk food? Too vague of a question. To consider it junk food, I need to know specifically what you got. Chipotle has some stuff there that can be junk food, and there's stuff at Chipotle that will count as whole foods. So you gave me a place, you did not go down the list of food. Right? Makes sense. No, there's some great whole food options here. But yeah, peppermint, I took the bait on that one. Hook, line, and sinker. Got me cussing, dropping F-bombs. I got to be careful. I'm trying to be better about that. I can't help it. It just comes out. Asking me not to cuss is very difficult. I've had corporate jobs where I cussed all the time. I didn't care. You know, we understand, Coach. Yeah, especially during fasted cardio, right? Hey, Gavin, we don't do non-fitness questions. Let's just move on. First warning, since I brought it up, you get a warning without an auto ban. Fair? My fault. I apologize. Next. Because I have to slap my hand on camera every time I read out a non-fitness question. I have to punish myself and apologize to my audience for doing it. So I'm not going to read your question, but we stick to fitness only questions. Thank you. Next. Excess says, as a cook at Chipotle, taking 300 calories. Cool. So you cook there, so you know. Do not get the rice, the adobe ranch, the cheese. The servings are too large to be healthy. All right, fair. Well, if you've cooked there, you probably know. Yeah, I guess it's depending on what they put in that rice. Unfortunately. Yes, I got asked earlier, though, is Chipotle junk? Chipotle's not sure junk. There's lots of healthy options there, though. There really is. All right. No, I mean, some of their carbs are also fine, too. Reference is fine. Beans, chicken, and guac might be the play. There you go. There you go. Yeah, but it says I eat it 4 to 5 times a week. Yeah, I know plenty of people who are fit and healthy and do Chipotle. I've done it in a hurry a few times even. Am I cooked? No, you're not cooked. Depends on bread and pasta as carb sources or eating grain based. I think pasta again. Bread can be problematic for a lot of people. I made a whole status on that yesterday or the day before on Facebook. The problem is some breads are going to have some junk mixed in. If it's got refined sugar and butter, it's worth easing into the junk food category. It is somewhat refined, so it can be a bit too hyperpalatable for some people. Depends on the person. That's a case-by-case basis. I personally don't do bread. Coach, yesterday in bed, I was hungry, salivating, but deficit calories were completed. I think it's a pushback from my body to not lose weight. In 20 minutes, that sensation went out. Yeah, I mean, you're going to get hungry when you're in a deficit. Opinion on protein from chickpeas and things like the pasta that says honey. You've got to remember it is a lower quality of protein, a lower bioavailability compared to animal source. This is why I tell guys you do need a certain amount of animal source protein. Do I count it into your total for the day? So let's say, let's say we're shooting for that, say at 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight, right? As long as a sizable portion of it is animal protein, that number is accurate, right? So if your target is whatever 140 grams a day, right? 150 grams, as long as maybe half of it is animal source, The other half can absolutely come from those sources. And as far as our data goes on muscle growth, muscle protein synthesis, you'll be fine. It's when you try to get all of your protein from those. But as long as a sizable portion is coming from animal sources, those lower bioavailable plant sources will be fine in your total. Now, if you start eating larger amounts, that ratio can shift even lower. You know, old Pasm, coach, would you say push pull legs and 40 upper lower are equally good, or just comes down to personal? Old Pasm, I literally did a whole video on that today, discussing the full body, and I broke that down in detail in the video of the thing with different splits right up front in the first couple minutes of the video. Like the last video I uploaded today, it is literally the last one in the playlist. I covered that point in quite some detail regarding the mindset and psychology, as far as any of that goes. Makes sense? Like I did a pretty detailed breakdown for you regarding that, body part splits, all of that. But personal preference kind of matters, right? If we're talking mindset, psychology, consistency, it does kind of matter, dude. Merrick says, I read a new study, 1 to 3 grams of protein butter is enough to build muscle. You're right, 100 grams of animal protein is all we need. And we don't even have to have the 100. The 100 is like idiot proof, right? Merrick, when I tell guys just try to grab 100 grams of animal source protein and then don't worry about anything else, that makes it completely idiot proof for a guy who's a 100 kilo lifter. I basically have idiot proofed it. You could go way under that 100 grams and still be optimal. But that is an absolute guaranteed you cannot mess it up. Makes sense once you've done that. Like, again, barring you're eating no other protein and you're a 250 pound guy or a 300 pound guy on lots of drugs. Okay. Yeah, Merrick, I know you're Carol. I remember that. Oh, Jay Nickus, I didn't even see your comment earlier. Is meat and chicken good? Because I'm seeing a lot of people saying it's bad. JJ, what do you mean? I mean, I have tons of information and videos and stuff about meat. I think lean meats are fine. Lean meats are great. Chicken is great. You don't want to have excessive saturated fat in your diet. So instead of saying, hey, is chicken or meat good, you need to be looking at the net saturated fat. Right? If you're eating fattier cuts of meat, you're going to need to keep them very, very low, or you are setting yourself up for some potential health problems. But at the end of the day, I mean, you're talking chicken breasts or even chicken thighs that are skinless, you're not going to get enough. You can't eat enough of that to get a high saturated fat. Can you get away with a leaner cut of steak every day? So let's talk meat and even red meat. Are you eating lean steaks? Are you eating 93.7 ground sirloin or something? You get away with a pound of that every day and probably have no health problems at all. So the context is how much saturated fat are you getting from it regularly, and how cardioprotective is the rest of your diet. Makes sense? Amit says, Coach, just finished my workout, saw you live, though, checking awesome. Trying to decide on a split really stresses me out. Old Pasm, that's why I made that video. I made that video because of that, like discussing how full body removes those considerations and stressors is one of the perks of it, actually. So hopefully, JJ, you were still in here when I answered that, because you had asked it like 5 minutes before and I didn't see your question. Over on Facebook. All right. I'll go check it out, Coach. Awesome. Good stuff. So we got a nice little view going. Hey, guys, I very, very briefly need to run away. I will be right back. Do not leave. Coach will be right back. All right, I'm back. There we go. All right, we are back. Uh-oh, the likes views are ticking up and they drop back down. What happened? Yes, sir, I did. I'm just starting my health journey at 450 pounds. Wow, JJ. 450. I have had a client though over 400 pounds before who got down to lost half his body weight actually. I did a vlog with him actually sometime back, a few of them, a number of them. Client Nicholas on you find it on my YouTube. I'm streaming on both platforms. You just find back and forth. I'm on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. No, dude, honestly, man, at 450, I'd be eating lots of lean animal protein. Like, don't be afraid of chicken, dude. Do you want to eat 2 pounds of chicken breast a day and you're working out at all at 450? Don't be afraid of some lean animal protein at all. It'll probably speed up your fat loss, to be honest, just due to the thermic effect alone. Excesses. Had to go do a set of quick hypers. Right. Yes, sir. I think I'm going to switch to full body again, thinking doing it Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or evening. No, I'd recommend a day between most of the time. I mean, you could do it that way, but it can add up a lot real quick. Ratnark said, will protein from cottage cheese be just as viable as lean meats? Yes. Tend to eat a lot of low-fat dairy, find myself craving it more than meat. Yeah, perfectly fine, Rat. I mean, if we want to go tit for tat, I mean, if we want to come down to the absolute most detailed nuance, technically, arguably, the dairy is a hair more bioavailable than meat. I mean, we're not talking by a large margin, but if we were to really come down to the deep nuance, it's a little bit better technically than the meat in terms of bioavailability. So no, you're not going to go wrong there. I think dairy in general for athletes and lifters is phenomenal. Just dairy protein, all the B12. We're talking more dairy we're not talking butter or cream. We're talking stuff that still has the protein in it. The B12, the calcium, the quality of protein. Dairy is really tough to beat. I'm very, very pro dairy. Rodrigo says, Coach, I know about calves are mostly jet, but I'm finding some studies that training them is also like a nice blood pump for the lower body. So I started doing some raises, a lot of soreness. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. A lot of mofos don't understand the power of Anavar and Primobolan, apparently. We got to move on from that. All right. No, I mean, Federico, training your calf's not a bad thing. I feel like I get enough calf training at this point with the sleds and the squatting and the jumping. Like that stuff builds my calves. Literally running builds my calves. And I know people are like, are you serious? My calves got bigger as a runner. They got bigger. Oh, but that's just me. I say definitely for me, those sled work. Sled work is an enormous calf hypertrophy tool. I mean, I'm not even going to bother to do calves anymore. I'm doing a sleds again all the time. There's no point in me even bothering with calf training. In fact, I wouldn't be able to run and do calf training. It would interfere with my running. So, but no, absolutely. I mean, there's benefits in building your calves. And the data doesn't show that calves are genetic. Start point is genetic. Calves grow just like every other muscle, and it's been researched. They grow at just the same rate of other muscles. It's just the genetic start point is largely based upon how many fibers you have. Excess says, if your calves don't get bigger from running, you genuinely might have something wrong with you. Hundreds of reps, right? Scorpion, the cut's coming along. I'm getting leaner. I mean, people are noticing, even real life, are like, you're getting leaner. So we're good. Right. Good morning, Jason. Good morning, Paul. How you doing, brother? Nice. In fact, if I didn't post any of my body weight at all at any point during this cut, people would just be like, man, you're just getting leaner every week. They would have no clue if I didn't say anything. So, yeah. Oh, man, the views are trickling up. Hit those likes, guys. Let's keep this flowing. So people are still on Facebook. But yeah, JJ, if you need any further advice, man, you're starting from that point. Follow my page like you're doing already. Stay on board, dude. Let's get you to 300 from 450. You know, you got this, dude. You got this. JJ, I believe in you. I believe you're saying you're starting your health journey at 450. I've had a client who is 430 who we got down to like 220. You can do this. You're going to be 200 pounds one day, right? You're going to be 200 pounds one day, right? You believe me, right? I believe that you're going to be 200 pounds. I personally went from 320 down to 170 at the start of my fitness journey, by the way. I mean, I haven't been over 400, but I've been over 300. So you're going to be 200 pounds one day. You got this. And your life is going to be so much better. You know, your health, your quality of life, the way you feel about yourself, the way you feel physically, the way you feel emotionally, it's all going to be better, especially once you lose that first 100. It's going to be a game changer. Like, you got this, dude. And as long as you believe in yourself and you stick it out, it's actually going to be easier than you think it is. Once you fall in love with that process and you decide that you're going to do it, it's going to be way easier than you think it's going to be. And I'm speaking as a voice of experience. You know, as someone who lost well over 100 pounds themselves before. Like, you got this, dude. Easy work, JJ. Let's go. Yeah, Amit's telling you from YouTube because he's in Facebook, the Facebook stream. Amit, right over here in YouTube, just said, easy work, JJ. Let's go. All right, you got this, homie. All right. Eat clean to get lean. Lift some weights. Walk. You don't even need much cardio right now. Just walking and some basic resistance training alone will get you through that first 100. You just got to eat protein and vegetables, right? Yeah, you absolutely can do it. And that's what I mean, guys. There's people like that who need help out there. This is why I'm at a point where I'm just not that interested in helping a lot of elite strength athletes to the same degree anymore, unless they want to pay me for it. There's people like JJ out there, man, who need to lose 200 pounds just to be reasonably healthy. You know, there's people like that who need help. I just don't give a shit anymore about getting guys to a 700 deadlift. It's just not, you know, in the grand scheme of things. I've already coached several people to a 700 deadlift. I mean, that's cool and all, but is it really as life-changing as the other stuff? Is it really making the world a better place as much as giving people good advice to the general population, getting them super fit? Come on. Because I'm pretty good at taking regular Joes and making them into beasts. By normal people say, I'm not saying I'm getting them to 700 deadlifts. I've only had 3 guys pull 700 without steroids, honestly. And they're all kind of freaks. You know. I'm sorry, I've had 2 guys pull 700 without steroids, not 3. I remember the third one was on gear. Never mind. The other one. Yeah. You know, but yeah, that's way more to make the world better. We got to get people in shape. Like we have an obesity epidemic, and it's just deadly. It's so out of control. And there's so much bad advice out there. You know, so much bad advice. No way I couldn't get to 700. 700 is cray. Even me, the most you guys saw me get to was 635. But I've coached a few freaks. They're out there. When you get somebody to a 700 deadlift and they've never touched steroids, it's just like, yeah, that's a freak. That's an absolute freak. They are built different. They're hard to coach, though. As funny as it sounds, dudes like that are harder to coach than you think they are. Like, it would be easy. They're that gifted. There's a mindset that comes with that. And they're also that neural drive. They tend to hurt themselves really easy. Like guys who have that type of neuromuscular efficiency and explosiveness. And then if their mindset isn't in check, dude, just snap city. Right? I might sound a bit old, but the older I get, the less I care about maximum results as long as I'm healthy, functioning, progressing. Yeah, I mean, and I agree with that, Ammon. I mean, I put out standards that people think are crazy, but I don't think they're unrealistic. So when I put out the dad bod standards, dudes are like, well, that's extremely crazy. I'm like, it's really not. Because I've worked with extreme results. I've worked with the extreme, and I'm telling you guys, a 3-plate bench and a 5-plate deadlift is not extreme. It just really isn't. Not for people who put in a long time. Yeah, it's extreme for 3 or 4 years. Hey, Jason, what's your opinion on volume versus intensity when it comes to muscle building? What is more important? I don't think you can de-emphasize either one. So I would lean in the direction of intensity. However, without sufficient volume, you're not getting muscle growth. And without close to optimized volume, you're not maximizing muscle growth. Now, past a certain threshold, people are just doing junk volume and goofing off, which is a lot of the volume argument. But the same thing on intensity. And intensity, I'm assuming we're talking proximity to failure, not the strength and conditioning science version, which is how much weight's on the bar, what percentage of your max. So a true 1-rep max in competition would be considered 100% intensity from a strength and conditioning perspective. No, I think really high quality heavy sets with progressive overload is going to be your primary driver. However, you do need to have sufficient volume, and up to a certain threshold, more volume will produce more growth. There's going to be a rapid diminished return on that. So it's not an either or, it's understanding how these variables affect each other. And also understanding that the lower intensity is, the more volume you have to stimulate muscle growth. Again, once we're done with the novice phase. So it's not even about an either or, it's understanding the relationship between the two. All right. Bodybuilders, I'm sorry, a lot of bodybuilders are dumb. They're, no offense, guys, a lot of them are just really dumb. So they come up with these black and white paradigms, these either or. Volume versus intensity. High reps versus low reps. It's like, why don't we understand different tools in a toolbox and how they weave together into a proper program? Come on, guys. They get excessively reductionist in these arguments. And I get it. Training for hypertrophy isn't as complicated as people make it out to be. It isn't that complicated, but there's a point of reductionism to where when we're making these arguments, it gets kind of ridiculous. So think of them as individual important variables that affect each other in the context of your larger overall program, but also understanding particularly volume and your ability to handle volume is going to be dependent upon a dozen other variables: your nutrition, your sleep, your genetics, your drug stack, or lack thereof. Having no drugs is your drug stack. So people forget that. Because most of the guys you're seeing online are on drugs, even if they claim that, they're on drugs. So you do need to understand that. The ones who scream their natty usually use the most. So all these other variables, quality of your nutrition, literally antioxidant status of your diet, even inside the same macros, can affect your ability to recover from training volume. All right. They're binary thinkers, Coach, absolutely. Intense people usually are. What do you think of bodybuilding? Dude, that's a 10-hour answer. Could you be a little bit specific? Because we bring this down to an actual tangible question. Be specific and even to explain what you mean by bodybuilding. Are you talking current professional bodybuilding? It's a death cult. It's a degenerate death cult of hideous physiques. Are we talking golden era bodybuilding? So again, are you assuming bodybuilding? Do you mean competition by bodybuilding? Or do you just mean the act of building your body? You gotta throw me a bone here, brother. Work with me. But current modern bodybuilding is a death cult. It is, as Scooby said, who was an old school YouTuber even before me, as Scooby said, professional bodybuilding is a contest to see who can take the most drugs without dying. So far, Ronnie Coleman kind of won that. I'm not saying he's not dying, but he survived it. Won a lot of Olympias. But it was noted he has an extremely high tolerance for steroids. Other coaches out there who work with him kind of said that. Like, he gets such low side effects for the same amount of drugs as other guys. Makes him hard to beat. Here it'll change natural bodybuilding is a waste of time. Again, there's nothing wrong with natural bodybuilding. Are you competing though? Are you talking competition, or are you just trying to get jacked? Are you talking really old school 50s type bodybuilding? No, I think that's great. Talking back to that like bronze era. No, dude, their training and physiques and methodologies were fantastic. I'm a big fan. I think current true natural bodybuilding as a competitive endeavor, I think they make them get excessively lean. I don't think it's attractive, and I don't think it's healthy to get as lean as they get in competition, personally. Just like being obese, there are limits to where you can get lean enough that is negative to your health. I'm not going to say it's as bad as being 100 pounds overweight, but it can absolutely be detrimental to your health and quality of life to get too lean. And even then, for some of the competitive natural, I don't think it looks good when they get that lean. And if bodybuilding is supposed to be about having an attractive physique, it's not attractive. It's not aesthetic. Competing in natural bodybuilding seems like it's getting, well, it's not. So you're doing it for yourself. Hope I was just thinking about around push-pull legs for all, dude. 3-day push-pull legs is totally viable. If you enjoy it, it works good. The only thing is, old Pasm, you are only getting one. You are getting one exposure per week. You better go hard. The only way push-pull legs 3 days a week works is if you go really hard on that day. Now, if you do, it is extremely viable. Just be aware of the limitation. Do you're working out 3 days a week. Each muscle group you're really only getting one real exposure. You better go hard in the pain. Otherwise, you're going to flounder on it. But if you go pretty damn hard and you enjoy it and you're motivated with it, it can be extremely effective. And I have clients who I put on that. Right? But there is your context for it. Right? There's your context. I'd rather train a muscle group super hard once a week. I tried full body the last couple of weeks, didn't enjoy it. Okay. Well, obviously it's going to be more sets, Cart. Because on a full body, you can do like 3 sets. 3 times a week and you're at a really, really good amount, right? See what I mean, Cart? But yeah, if you're going to do push-pull legs, you're talking bare minimum 6 sets, and they need to be hard sets. So usually like 6 to 10 sets once a week is probably kind of where you want to be on that. But when I mean hard, they need to be hard sets. Like if you've got 3-4 reps in reserve, this shit's not going to work. No, most true naturals don't have the big social media platforms, so I'm not going to go through that. You're going to have to go research them yourself. I don't follow a lot of people in that regard. What about Jeff Nippard? Could you do push-pull legs and just try a 4th day for additional accessory work for weak points? You could, Amit. I have clients who've done that, literally. Push-pull leg shoulders, push-pull legs arms, I mean, you've seen vlogs with it on my channel, right? Or stuff like that with clients. It's workable. Or you could just do the push-pull legs. But the point being with the thing cart, they need to be really hard sets. Like 2 failure within 1 rep in reserve. You're only hitting that muscle once a week. You better go hard. How about I don't get in arguments about individual people and we just throw out there? If someone is making their money off their physique on social media or their performance, do you really think they're natural? So rather than me get into fights and call individual people out by name or any of this nonsense, let's just set that aside. What incentive does anyone making their living at it have to be natural? Once there's money involved, come on, just stop. And I think we can just leave it there. Don't assume anybody is natural who is making a living at it. Like, just your life will be so much easier if you just set that level of naivety aside. And I don't need to call anybody out by name, just say, look, use some common sense. Said me, I'm all natural these days. Natural lifters, lifting natural weights, naturally eating natural peanut butter on their natural bike. Do you think box squats will have a place in your training again? Probably, maybe. Am I planning it currently? No, but could it happen? Yes. How's that for an answer? If I was considering it, I would probably already have done it. Coach doesn't consider stuff for real long. Seems like a good idea. Why not implement it tomorrow? Why wait 6 months? So, but back over to the point. I have no current plans to, but I wouldn't rule it out. I like box squats. I think they're a really good tool. You're welcome. By the way, you're welcome, Valina. All right. All right, we're getting this one a nice little good session here. Getting some pretty good stuff going on YouTube. Decent views. I think it'll be good views. Be great if we got some supers today, but we can't always make on that. We never know, man. I could get 0 supers. I could get $5. I could get $50 in supers. You never know. It's just a gamble, man. It's like playing the lottery. Almost always, though, it's someone I've really answered a bunch of their questions. They'd be like, oh, thank you. That happens. But, you can never bank on that. But we could put the energy into it. Put it out there to the universe. That guy going to come through who dropped me a $200 super years ago and swing back through this. That happened. You guys remember that? That was hilarious. Dude just dropped the $200 super chat one day, just randomly. I'm like, okay, all right, thank you so much. That was cool. I was kind of like paused for a second. Like, this dude really just give me $200 in a thing? Just like, did you really do that? I'm like, am I reading this wrong? Okay, cool, man. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Wow, He's like, thanks for all the years of help. It was like, you could have bought coaching for that. All right. It's funny. People are funny like that. You never know. That guy came in like a boss and dropped the bag. He just did. And he dropped some other smaller ones later. It wasn't like a one time he came through and did like 20 here or there again. Dude just didn't even warn me. I'm just chatting. I answered one of his questions, like a real quick question he had, and it was just bloop, like right up all over the screen. It was like, all righty. I was not expecting that. You know, it was cool though. I think outside of chats, I've had some bigger ones in comments though too. I had a guy about 3 or 4 months ago did like 75 or something in a video comment. It was just like, hey man, thanks for all the years of help. Appreciate it. I was like, oh, sure. All right, cool. You never know, dude. You have no way to predict that stuff. Just kind of cool. It's the nature of this game, you know. But sorry, let's get back over to people's fitness questions instead of all of that, because that's boring to people. They don't care. They want to know some guy. They don't care, man. They want their questions answered. They want to make them gains. They want to know the best way to do stuff. You know, I'm not going to run this one much past the hour though, guys, because I got to get food in the Instapot, and I still got to jog today. I got to run later, which will also be on the stream. I got much more content to do. I still got reels and pictures to put up. So I did 2 reels in the grocery store today too, because people like those. There was several people who were like regulars were like, dude, I like those because you do more of those. You know, when it's your regular supporters who you're like dropping tons of comments and likes, and you know, you gotta give them what they want. You know, just like I just felt it was different and cool that you're just talking about the food in the grocery store for 45 seconds. All right. Yeah. Example of a hard push day. On a hard push day, 3 sets of bench close to failure, 3 sets of weighted dips to failure, maybe some overhead pressing and a tricep exercise, right? That's a perfect example. 3 sets of bench within 1 rep of failure, 3 sets of weighted dips to failure, 3 sets of overhead press, maybe to failure, and then like some tricep press downs, 3 sets to failure. That would be an example of a hard push day on push-pull legs. Just, you asked me to make one up off the top of my head. You got it? Or you could even do some skull crushers at the end too. That would work good. All right. Make it all old school. With no machines, no cables. Or if you didn't want to do any small movements, you could finish with pullovers instead of an extension. That would be really effective too. So that work for you, old pal? I don't want to call you peasant. I don't even know how to say that. Old Passam. Okay. So like PA Sam, like you're in Pennsylvania or something. I've been calling you old Pasm all this time. Right. I don't have any sense. Thanks, Coach. That's what I had in mind. All right, cool. Old PA Sam. See, now that I read it closer and stopped to look at the name. I don't be caring about saying people's names right. They get mad sometimes. I got people who got mad at me, like, you mispronounce people's names all the time, but when it came to Sean Malawali, you said his name correctly. Like, how did you, like, don't pretend like you can't say people's names when you said Sean Malawali correctly. And it's like, it was easy to do because I've heard him say it out loud. You know? Plus, it's funny to mispronounce people's names. I guess they're fangirls, like their panties all twisted up. Jason, do you think modafinil is effective drug for enhancing focus during lifting? No idea. Don't know. Don't care. Sag, you're not going to like my answer. How about you not be a bitch? How about you just literally go and do your workout? You need a drug to enhance focus during lifting? I'm not trying to be a dick, but I mean, a question like that, You need a drug to enhance focus to work out. I hope you're trolling me. You have to be trolling me. You have to. You can't be serious. So I'm going to give you a hard time with that. All right. People get way too hung up when they do peppermint. I always mispronounce people's names online. Yeah. Do you still use creatine? I do use 5 grams a day, and I have ADHD. Yeah, but I don't know what that drug is. So you just named some drug that I think I've seen the name of somewhere. Yeah, okay. So why are you asking a fitness person what your doctor should be prescribing you for focus? Doesn't this fall in the area of your psychiatrist? You know, man, just saying, dude. I'm just like, we need a drug to focus on our workout? What? I think some of you guys overplay this ADHD thing a little bit. Because most people I've known who actually have ADHD also get hyper focus like crazy. They got that crazy hyper focus also. But no, dude, I can't give you advice on psychiatric drugs. This is not my wheelhouse. Just throwing me off. The dude's like, I need a drug to focus on my workouts. I'm like, just go train, man. Go train. I mean, you guys watched me for years not even do music. We just go in and just lift. Just lift the weight. You mean just zone in, man. Just be in your place of zen. Like nothing else exists while you're lifting anyways, you know. Not like you can actually hear the music in the middle of a set. Not like you can see or hear anything else going on anyways, right? I can't. So when I do a work set, I mean, you might as well have just put earplugs and a mask on me. I can't see or hear it anyways. We're just focused on the lift. So I get dudes who are like, they're trying to look in the mirror when they lift. Like, how can you see yourself in the mirror while you're lifting? You're clearly not focused on the lift if you can see yourself. Just lift. Be in the moment. Right? Oh. And I go to squat 500 pounds. It's not like I see and hear other stuff happening. We're focused on the lifting. Other senses just kind of dull out. So, learn to focus when you lift, man. You need to learn to be in your present, your being in the moment. Be mindful in the moment. Right? You got to be in flow state. All right. I think we're about to wind all this down. So YouTube will run a little longer here, at least an hour. Probably going to wind down Facebook, so love you guys on Facebook. And when I lift on Calm and Flex Coach, there we go, man. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and wind down the YouTube. Also, love you guys, and I will talk to you next time.